We shall return. Hey there, and welcome to the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Sunday Club Race Baron's Hero's Journey. And today we are heroing the most honorable of the four fiends, the Fire Fiend himself, Rubicante. My name is Sheep Launcher. I am here in the booth with Dathis. Dathis, we have a required meta objective today where we are going to be healing every boss with fire spells. What do you think of the flags for this one today?
Looking at all the flags and seeing the overall concept, I actually really enjoy this because it takes a basic concept of one of our favorite things, the wacky flags, and it turns it into, oh, you thought you were just doing regular games? Nope, we are actually going to be cosplaying as one of our four fiends. And I'm a big fan of that, especially if you play any of the after years and see some of the stuff that Edge does and some of the equipment he gets.
Yes, we will be showing all of the enemies flame. We will be showing them how, because all fire spells heal, and the meta objective will require us to heal every single enemy with a fire spell or a fire item. So we do start with Edge, who has that flame ability. As you can see, you have to defeat the fiends, all of them in all their forms, launch the Falcon, complete the Giant of Babel. You have to do 6 of those objectives in order to get the crystal to defeat Zeromus today.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a list of them, but it's basically, hey, let's go heal our friends up so we can go and beat Zeromus. The big thing I think you're really going to be looking for, I think Rydia and Palom go up so high on priority, even for Permajoin, because Flame is a lot of MP, and if you're having to constantly commit that much to every fight, you're not going to really... Like he's going to run out of MP so quickly. You don't really use it all that often, but 60 MP to start goes real quick, and then it just doesn't get easier from there.
Yeah, and as you can see from Jay Brunter's screen, no Porum, no Rosa, because White Mage is kind of irrelevant anyway because you don't learn Cure spells. Runners will get the Mysidia starting kit, which does give 70 Cure 2, 70 lives, so that will help out with that.
Yeah, the nice amount of items from there, perfect. You can even go with just like your regular bruisers. Not even really need to worry about any mages if you want, because you can just have Sid in the back casting out heals. But there's your Palom right there, as I was saying. That's a very tempting pickup, especially the hook. Oh man, that's even objective right there.
Yeah, we knew a hook was going to appear somewhere on the overworld, but the Dark Imps hand it straight to us. We are underway, and we are glad to have you with us. Side Marshal on the left-hand side says, "Hey, Palom, let's go." Jabron says no. No Palom for him right now.
Yeah, that is a very interesting call. We're gonna have to go right away. I love when you see divergence in parties off the very hop in Permajoin, because this is where you look and go, that is an interesting call, and I would love to see why. Because it's not Permajoin see buy, I don't believe, thankfully. So we're not gonna be like, oh, we can't just say oh gone and never see them again. If Jaybrun decides to change his mind and pick up that Palom later, he can, but he's probably gonna commit to this. And the Baron versus Troya play, paying off with some information. That is our Elements fight.
Mm-hmm. Right in the front spot of Baron Inn. Side Marshal picking up the tower key from Edward, and already you are seeing one of the effects of this wacky flag. Fireplaces are healing pot. And so Jabron gets a little heal.
Yeah, again, the wacky flags were very well thought out and had some very fun interactions with these seeds just in general. Also, Jabron finding something very nice for later on, as well as Scythe Marshal finding something very nice for right now. We have the Mirasame that we have on Scythe Marshal's side, but those silk webs are going to be very beneficial to buy a couple of those, just so you have the ability to slow down Z later on.
Yeah, very nice. And Side Marshal in that same treasury also picking up a Cursed Ring, which is never a bad thing to have in your back pocket.
No, absolutely not. Just to have for later on agility manipulation. Although I really don't think either our runners are going to mess with Edge's agility very much. And Jabron is actually going to find some of our first 7 characters we're only going to have in this seed.
Yeah, no earned characters. So, as you saw in Baron Inn, there will be piggies hanging out at all the places where you have to have a battle or have a key item to gain characters. But all the free spots, Watery Pass, Mysidia, they have the characters. So, our runners will each be able to assemble their party to their liking right away.
And I saw Jabron just did pick up that cane. I don't think he picked up the Rydia, though.
No, he says, Rydia don't need you yet. So, we'll see what Jabron's ultimate strategy is. I imagine that a visit to the Tower of Wishes will be in the offing for both of these runners if they manage to turn down anybody that they would want to have.
Oh, absolutely, and especially with the fact that we look and we see summons in Mysidia, we have Sylph, we have Leviathan. You can kind of say, "Hey, Rydia, you get to do all the things later on." We even saw Bahamut for sale, I think, in Troya proper, if not Baron. So it's everywhere. Also,
yeah, the shops are wild.
Yeah. Also, our boy Eddie, big fan. We do have this. I believe we have the spoon flag on as well. So
we do.
So that makes him really, really decent, but he needs a lot of HP. And Jabron, yep, just like this is a boys' outing, it looks like.
The boys are back in town for Jabron, and a French vanilla, Tella, in Damsian Castle.
Yes, so he's joining you as opposed to leaving you. Also, a white spear for Jabron. That's kind
very
of
nice
for this early on.
Yeah, this T Wildish really paying off so far. Also, both runners have found a boomerang. Not great on its own, but it definitely allows you to back row that edge. Now, the back row glitch flag is not on, so he will still have to be using the boomerang in order to benefit from being in the back row. But that could place him in the back row doing full damage as long as the boomerang is there.
Indeed, and Scythe's giving us a look at one of our first bosses here, second round here, really. That is the Magus Sisters sitting in the waterfall. No one is going to be fighting them. Thankfully, they're out of the pool and not in a rooter spot. But also, I did miss. We did get a first look into the Damsian treasure room. That was also the loveliness of a Leviathan. That kind of puts Rydia up a little bit higher on my priority personally. You can use her to heal with fire, and then just Leviathan goes burr on everything else.
And the Sylph is a decent summon for her, especially early on as well, since she won't learn any cure spells. Fire does heal, but Sylph also does some good old-fashioned healing as well.
Yeah, and with the fact that we don't have Vanilla Rydia on, she's going to learn a random spell on Hobbs, meaning she doesn't learn fire naturally, like at all. Like even in this version, she's not going to get it. So you have to wait till you hit either Dwarf Castle to get Fire 2 to heal with her, or you have to just level her up to the point where you get to Fire 3, and that is a long, long time to be relying on just Edge's Flame.
So, Dathis, what party would you want to roll with now that we've seen every character, I believe?
We have, and oh no, we're missing one. We are still missing the Ordeals character.
Oh, that's true.
Looking at what we have here, I think my party would probably be Kane, Palom. Honestly, Kane, Palom, Rydia, and Edge. Like I like the concept of. I'm not a big fan of mages personally, but that's who I would be taking and just grabbing out right here as what I want. This character here is kind of dictated. If it has to be Eddie, it has to be Eddie. The hook character, I won't have one, so it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, no hook character. It is a little bit of a shame, and this is a Sid. So
Sid definitely a snap take.
Sai says no for now.
Yeah, disagrees. So the reason why I would take, and I'm very much happy with Jay Brun changing some character names here. we do love our memes in this game, and character names are one of them. So the reason why I would take Sid is because he gets to do your multi-purpose. You find some Cure 3 pots, he's your healer, and you can just let everybody else go buck wild with damage. That way you can pick up all of your bruisers and say, okay, this is the way to go. You could, in fact, just have your front line be Sid, Edge, and Kane, and then your back line of your mages of Rydia and Palom, both healing and wailing out damage on things that don't like magic.
And Side Marshal ending up in Mysidia does take both Rydia and Kane and is going to head into the Tower of Wishes, probably to pick that Sid back up.
Yeah, going
for Tella.
So Tella is really good in the sense that we know we're doing the Giant of Babel. That could be if we find an early Darkness Crystal. He's your only source of exit, as well as the fact that you could D-money grind with him. I personally am not I like Tella, don't get me wrong. He serves his purpose, but with no anchoring with him, he loses a lot of value, in my eyes.
And so both runners' parties are set. Side has Edge, Tella, Palom, and Rydia and Kane. Jaybrun, same party except Edward instead of Rydia. So we'll see how that comes into play. Jaybrun will be the first to try and do an objective and the first to show us a boss fight. And this is Mylon Z. This is an objective.
Yeah, and the nice, so you got Mylon's Zed, and you're going to be casting Holy on him, so he's going to be knocked down nice and quick. I'm very much happy with that. And even if you didn't want to use Edge to do damage, you have Tella up there that can do it. But yeah, showing the power of these spears that cast spells,
yes.
Absolutely love the White Spear early on.
And gets a Legend Sword out of it. That is a key item as well. The Legend Sword fused with the Adamant, or forged with the Adamant, will get a really nice weapon for Edge.
Yeah, or we could see Scrap.
Yay!
Everyone's a fan of Scrap. Yeah, hoping for the Super Smith to really pay off, give Edge something nice and pretty with the joys of the hero flag being on. Yeah, a lot of our runners is going to be doing some back and forth now while Scythe is learning some summons. Want to give a big shout out to those who are doing all the really hard work behind the scene. Arnlore, who's doing our wonderful restreaming, keeping everything in line, and Scarsor, who's going to be keeping track of all the multitude of objectives and the many key items we see here. Big shout outs to letting just be them allowing Sheep, my fabulous co-commentator, and myself just sit and talk and enjoy a wonderful Fiend's Fest with you this afternoon.
Yes, they are the fiends behind the scenes that allow us to keep the focus on the fiendly fire that we have on the screen. And so both of our runners now heading up Mount Ordeals. We already know where a third of the objectives that we need are, because our runners have 8 objectives to choose from. They only have to do 6 in order to get that crystal. We've seen the elements in Baron Inn, so our runners probably thinking this seed has all the makings of one that could go real fast.
Oh, absolutely. And again, in a boss hunt, you can't really say no to 3 big objectives possibilities right here. Just 3 big fights. But speaking of big fights, we have a siren being cracked here. So unfortunately, Scythe, you may have forgotten that it doesn't work against these. I thought it was just bosses, but it's known heals everything.
Yeah, the meta objective, I think, says every enemy, does it not?
Heal any enemy once in every boss encounter.
Yeah.
So, this is not a boss encounter. This is a summoned encounter. So I like the idea that Scythe is kind of just hedging his bets and saying, no, 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 I want to make sure I hit it every time. But
yeah, well, you know, the double Liliths, they could be bossy, I'm sure.
Especially when they try to charm you over with their words. But yeah, we very much getting a nice smackdown over on Jbrun's side. Orbs, blink and you miss it. CPU, a fight that can be scary or at least annoying in some parts, but just jump, go, make it happen. And a low HP spot like this is where you like seeing them.
I do love this wacky flag because it allows me to pretend that setting fire to my computer actually helps it.
Wait, you mean it doesn't?
It can't get any hotter than it already is, right?
Very true. And here's where we have a first boss that can be kind of problematic if it was allowed to be in a different spot. Evil Wall, you love to see him gone nice and quick. Gets Flame out. Does he still even counters with Petrify if you heal him because it's using the spell on him. Love it.
Yeah, Evil Wall could be really tough here, but not going to be an issue. Most likely for this party. This party going quickly enough, and with the free characters on, we've seen parties of 2 or 3 climbing up ordeals. Of having a full party really helps out.
Indeed, and Jbrun kind of hitting the first spell and just saying, "Oh, I'll do damage with this." May have accidentally clicked Fire 2 as opposed to needing to cast Lit 2 or something, but yeah, I know you can kind of forget. It's like, okay, just spell, hit spell, damage over. Oh wait, hold on, wrong spell. And Marco very handily getting through with the Joys of Sylph that goes through wall, does not care, and the Joys of Summons.
And Jprun darting his way through the wall, and the wall comes crumbling down.
Indeed, just showing the power of Edge, and a lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, how much money can you spend on early game on, say, vampires or something like that?" Now it's like, well, how much money do you want to spend on like Drain Spears and get through your early games, even to your mid to late? Because Edge just the Dark command is just so beneficial. Yeah, we have the ability to back row boomerangs, but just dart and forget kind of thing. Just throw my money at these enemies.
Edge, since the hero flag is on, Edge will face the changing room alone.
Please be really confident.
That would be incredible.
This would be wonderful. If this was Darkness too, that'd be entertaining. Earth Crystals, so not bad.
Yeah, that's a key item check. Another couple of boss checks. Boo.
I was really hoping, because it would have just been that would have been very meta.
Extremely meta. Oh, the magic power so low here that the piggy spells miss.
Yeah.
Or maybe Edge has a ribbon or something on.
I don't believe he does. No, the magic power is just that laughably low that you can just go through and just get rid of it. Yeah, Jbrun even like, you know what, this is taking 2 attacks. That's 1 attack too many, and just says, nope, yeet, more guards.
Yeah, using the guards as a pincushion. Definitely effective, and Jbrun will tromp down the mountain with his Earth Crystal. Will be interesting to see the direction he takes from here.
So this is actually a really interesting thought. How soon do you go down the hook route to make it so that Edge can use Flood and Blitz and not just Flame? Because there are some times you want to take out some of these AoE enemies, and you might not find the Soma drop for Tella, and you don't want just your one character having to do everything. How soon do you get those spells?
Yeah, that is a consideration. That those spell acquisitions happen as part of the story, in between the first and second fight on the hook route. So technically, you only have to do one, and then you can kind of walk back and get back to whatever you needed to do in the overworld. But yeah, there is, especially for especially for Scythe, but a little bit for Jabrun as well. It doesn't have to rely so much on magic from Edge. Got enough other mages to do some work for him, so maybe that would be lower on the priority list. Maybe want to tidy up in the overworld. We'll see. And
speaking of
more Fiend.
Wow, we have Val Valis saying, "Hey, I'm not in the tower today. Can I come and hang out in Fabul?" And everything, why are you here?
Look at that magic defense. One heal, which is enough.
HP is still an HP heal.
Yep. And luckily, Jabrun has a cane for just this occasion.
Yeah, I think with the fact that we have to fight Vavalis at some point, I knew that we were going to be seeing canes on pretty much every side, because you have to.
Yeah.
If she's in a very rude spot, you kind of lock yourself out of it. But instead, we have Scythe Marshal going and doing our favorite of raiding that treasury. And honestly, looking at this here, you're looking at a solid 7 right now. From Wildish. We got a Dragon Whip. We've got
Tiara.
We got a Runex. Mage bosses. Dwarf Axe. There's back row glitch.
Zeus Gauntlet. Another Mura.
Wow.
That's defense sword, protect ring. Yeah, that's an excellent treasury.
For your squad here, that is very much the best you're going to be looking at, as well as a couple of Starveils here that we see in in there. And
what a shop this is. Yeah, in Fabul. Starveils, cabins, illusions, and apples.
Thank you for putting the word into my brain that I could not think of. But yeah, those bombs especially, you buy about 20 of those, you no longer have to rely on Edge's flame spell. You can just throw a bomb. You're like, yep, here you go. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like in Final Fantasy VII, people sending bombs to each other as gifts. The objective is satisfied if you use a fire elemental item. So Jabrun will be is happy with that shop. Jabrun also going to pick up that tower key from Edward. No keyless tower today.
Yep, and routing this in with this Earth Crystal again. Your early game, you kind of want to get... I'm always a big proponent of check your objectives, check your freebies, and I like going to Troya as soon as you can so that you can loot the treasury, especially on a T Wildish setting. Treasury, like the basic treasury, plus getting this free key item, it kind of dictates a little bit of what the seed is. Unfortunately, and I say that in quotations, it just happened to go that your routing would bring you here anyways, as opposed to much later in the seed. But who knows where that Earth Crystal could have been? It could have even been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jabrun getting the good news of all the goodies here.
Yeah, might even skip out on the public treasury, which would be a shame, because the public treasury also pretty good.
Yeah, just so many goodies here. And Jabrun actually going to be doing another bit of fun routing. Says, you know what, I've got this twin harp. We're going to go and say hello to whatever music we have here. And I'm a big fan whereas we have summon on summon violence in, I'm assuming, the Magus Sister spot. That's
correct. Bahamut here in the Magus Sisters spot, the first spot in the Tower of Zot. So Scythe won't be able to chain the Twin Harp Earth Crystal together, which is something that's just so satisfying to a certain kind of runner. Like, to be able to route those two together and then kind of forget about this part of the world for the rest of the game until you get that pass.
Oh yeah, you very much love the whole Twin Harp into Earth Crystal into Baron Key kind of wombo combo. If it happens like that, it always feels just that right, but even if not, no big deal. We do get a look at Leviathan, who's going to be sitting at Dwarf 2, so really no problem in that fight. And we are going to get a look not only at what music we have, but what boss is hiding in the Magnus Cave today.
Yeah, could be if it's another elemental.
Oh, I forget what piggy meta means. Yellow ears. I think this is going to be a Luge.
It could be.
So there's a whole meta, and there's a whole chart that was done based upon what the enemies would be based upon the color that you see, and it takes whatever is the dominant color of their sprite, and it turns the piggy's ears that. So there is a whole method to the madness, which we will talk about more once we have a little bit of sound of silence. All right, and that is our Choco music from Final Fantasy IX with the D-Lunars. You see the joys of very, very high, if not perfect, magic defense here at this location. You do get a pan for all of your struggles. Meanwhile, on the left side, Scythe Marshal finishing up Zot, finishing up Baron Inn, getting only, I say only, a Sand Ruby that gives you no character and a Crystal Helm, which is a little unfortunate, but getting those spots out of the way, as well as getting that Elements fight with the dolls behind it, is very, very nice. Getting his first objective.
Yep, Scythe doing his first objective. Going to look for more on Hobbs. Just a Dark Elf up there. So, yeah, Scythe hasn't gone to Fabul yet, hasn't gone to Antlion Cave, whereas Jabron has.
Also, a comment from chat. Everyone on the fire team has fire absorb. No, this is the wacky flag that we have is friendly fire. So all fire spells will heal as you see. And as I kind of made my own little comment in chat, I just realized how free a D machine grind is with this flag set. You don't even have to worry about the fires. You just we can go, and I'm just like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And so, the effect is kind of that every single enemy and ally and everyone gets healed by fire. And that's why, for example, the fireplaces also are healing pots. Fire just magically heals in this world.
Yeah, it's very nice, and again, you're looking at so many different bonuses there, which are good. Scythe Marshal going down, we are fighting our Mylon Zed and our Legend Sword for him, so kind of bringing up the disparity of key items there back a little bit while we have Jbrun moving some spells around real quick. I think he may be trying to set up for an MP underflow? I don't think that glitch is on.
It is. The MP underflow glitch is on. This is, getting the underflow glitch to stick is kind of magic to me. But if it works, you're going to see the MP in the on the left-hand side, kind of have a 7 and a scythe or something, a little arrow, and. Yeah, I can't explain it. There's a process to it, and Jbrun is trying to do it.
I will say, I myself do not know how to do the GMP glitch. It is very much beneficial in the vanilla speedrun, and I have been wanting to learn it, and I'm like, I need to sit down and do it, but I'm like, I just can't do myself. And it's I need to look up this now that we're talking about it.
Ooh, Jbrun is going to pet a dog. And so this is going to be very therapeutic. Oh, Scythe picking up a flame rod from the Eblin shop. That's, again, can cast a low-level fire spell when used as an item. That's another way to take the burden off of Edge.
Oh, that is also very good. And a Dragoon Spear, very, very nice. So for all of us who are uninformed exactly how this is done, if you go to our wiki, which I will plug in chat in just a second, the MP Underflow glitch is done by outside of battle. It can be applied in the magic menu by doing the following. Step 1. Navigate to a spell that is castable outside of battle and costs more MP than the caster currently has. Press A. Move the cursor to an adjacent slot that is either empty or a spell that currently can be cast. Simultaneously move the cursor back to the original slot and press A. So it's one of those, you have to trick it by going over it and then going back and to the original spot and doing A at the same time. It seems a little tricky. I'm gonna have to start learning how to do this. So he has to start with Toad and then so it's start with Toad, press A, move to a slot that is either okay. So you have to start with Toad, go to Piggy, go back to Toad, and then cast again.
Well, another glitch, the item duplication glitch, is going to be on the lesson plan for our Pink Puffs this week, I understand.
Yes, again, there's this game had so many fun glitches, and the item duplication glitch, which is a little bit easier to pull off, as it only resolves needing 2 item slots to do up, and it makes it so that you can either do there's 3 variations of the glitch. The basic one where you only give yourself 1 extra copy, a slightly less optimal one where you get about 5 copies of a single item, or one where you get 255 copies of an item, and you basically can sell for as much as you need, or, in the case of if you have an edge, let's dart everything! How would you like unlimited spoons to dart?
I love it. And Mom Bomb here in the first spot can be a little tricky. especially since this spot does hit hard and goes relatively fast.
Yeah, this is a fairly spooky spot if you don't have the ability to just kind of one-hit everything. This is a spot, this is where you can do it. Leviathan is one where you can, because it's got about 6,000. Unfortunately, Mom giving an extra 10,000 HP, not exactly what you want to see. So this is just, you have to battle of attrition your way through this one.
And you see Scythe using that Flame Rod as an item. And so the second boss here is a Lunar Sparkle. We've already seen Ogopogo, we've already seen D-Lunars, so it could be Pale Dim, could be Plague, or it could be Wyvern in the second spot. Now, the unsafe flag is not on, so it actually can't be Wyvern.
That's correct. You unfortunately, we've done everywhere on the overworld we can, so that means that this cannot be Wyvern. As entertaining as that would be, if it was a cheeky demist hiding somewhere on the overworld, then yeah, it's like, okay, if that was the thing. Also, the Force Hook flag is on in this, so we know that the hook is our way underground. Yeah, our logical way underground, so that means that we're not going to have any sort of fire elemental or any sort of big blarg being angry today. Scythe getting those spells saying, we're going to save real quick, because yeah, that Bomb, I wouldn't want to fight again either.
Very true, and even though we know that Wyvern can't be there, always worth a safety save, because even Pale Dim at this spot can be a little tricky. Jaybrun about to encounter his Nope Noodle. And Scythe used all the darts he had to turn Ogo into sushi. We'll see if Jaybrun does the same thing.
I don't believe so. Oh wow, this is a nice evil mob, but this is, with Berserks is a little bit more handleable. Yeah, I definitely foresee Jaybrun trying to get some fires up on his characters, but this is the problem. Blaze is non-elemental. It is not fire. Or is it holy elemental?
It looks like a holy spell, but I thought it was non-elemental. And we're getting word in chat, it's actually ice. So, you know, way to name your ice spell, your really scary ice spell, Blaze. Sure.
That's pretty chill.
I wonder if the Pixel Remaster calls it Freezer Burn or something.
No, the Pixel Remaster stays very true to this, and I think it's still Blaze, but yeah. Yeah, this is where you're getting into the kind of spooky territory with this Ogo. This is where your silk webs can go miles.
Yes.
Down Ogopogo speed while you're getting yourself back up and recovering from this, because this is not a fun fight. When it hits like a truck, but as you see, the attack physical accuracy is not that great for Jaybrun being hit until Old Man gets hit.
And Scythe Marshall doing the life potion roulette, not able to get the berserks up fast enough to prevent some of his characters from going down.
Indeed, and we do see him parrying with every turn. Oh, did he get...
He did get a reflect off, so Plague should be counting on himself.
I was so enthralled.
And he gets it.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Jaybrun, meanwhile, still tangling with that snake, trying to basically have a two-man crew here.
Yeah, I think at this point it's going to be you have to have Edge start attacking, and Kane is going to be your chemist, or Kane jumps. Either way, it's this is basically what you're going to have to deal with, because unless you have one life up, one potion immediately afterwards, which doesn't really matter because we got a jump kill. Love the damage Kane can do. Very, Very nicely done.
Yeah, good fight from Jabrun, and Side Marshal also getting the kill on a Plague, about to get his third objective. Did see King and Queen Eblin up at the top of the tower. The top of the tower could be an annoying spot just because the HP is so high. King Queen Eblin at that spot, you're not going to complain about that.
No, that's literally a free heal fight because all they do is cast fire on you, and fire is going to heal you. So you use flame and then just go at that point. That is, yeah, that's a. I would drop right down here and say, "Yep, we're good. We're gonna just keep going."
Especially with that tower key in hand, I love ditching the Falcon as soon as I pick it up. And Scythe wants to do a little more shopping. Gonna see what the fine dwarves in Tamra are hawking today. Coffins, vampires, and exits.
Yeah, so okay items. You can probably buy a couple of coffins because you can crack an egg or two underground here and just get some really good XP on your Palom, give some Warp, give some Quake, and puts him completely online. And you don't need to worry about exits because we do have this Tela here. So very, very nice. Whereas Jabrun has decided that, yeah, he is going to do Baron in, will find the elements, thankfully, that he saw earlier. Get that knocked out before going underground.
Did you see the Tamra shop contains everything you need? It has vampires. It also has crosses.
It is a Belmont's dream.
Wonder if there's any garlic around too.
Very, very interesting question. Yeah. The big thing is we're still looking for we are on a wild hunt check still. Like we need 6 of these objectives of the 8 that we have here, and we are missing a lot of bosses and 1 single key item really. But at that point, once we get the Darkness Crystal, we still have 3 gating key items remaining, which can block any of our 1 being a big stymie, but 1 not so much.
So we don't know where Ruby is, we don't know where Kainatsu is, and we don't know where Myelon is. But Darkness Crystal would go a long... yeah, there's our Wyvern. Darkness Crystal would go a long way. You could Darkness Crystal can complete the Giant of Babel. So, yeah, really a Darkness Crystal hunt first and foremost.
Yeah, and we see that today's opening spell is Charm, only landed on the Kane who was Star-Veiled up, so okay. I saw Scythe hovering over that Leviathan. I thought the same thing too. It's like, wait, only 1 person has the wall up for that counter Mega Nuke. That is a bad idea.
Well, Wyvern is very charming, but in this case, his charms did not particularly work.
Indeed, and Scythe deciding, hey, that defense sword that I could give Kane, we're just going to let him keep the spear and throwing that off. And you and I know we've had this conversation on stream before, Sheep. It's a back and forth. Is what is actually the better weapon for him? And it's
right
up until like 50s, basically, it's the defense sword. After that, it's kind of everything's on parity because of accuracy.
Right, and you know that white spear has been very useful for Scythe, not only as a weapon, but to cast the the holy spell. So, yeah, Scythe decided that Wyvern really didn't need to be around anymore, and decided to make the fight go faster.
And I agree with it. It's utilize the resources you have, and it's the same comment we had earlier. It's how much money are you willing to spend in throwables, really?
Mm-hmm.
Answer is all of them. Can't do the next seed as much as we tried.
Got a quick look at some of the spells that Rydia picked up from growing up. They do include Titan.
Yeah, we have Titan, we have Gems, so we have not only a decent spell in that Titan, but we do have Leviathan already, so we have that. Scythe resetting out. I think he forgot to cast fire on that Leviathan.
I think so. Meanwhile, Jabron mucking around in the charred remains of Eblin Castle, which feels like it's appropriate even if it's not required.
And chat and our restreamer kind of keeping us a little more honest. He had the flame queued up, but came just a little too quick and it lands with that jump first. So that was not the meta objective. And to answer a question in chat, yes, the meta objective is 100% mandatory. You must heal everything. It's as if you are Rubicon fighting everything as free as possible here.
Yeah, and to clarify, every boss battle has to have a heal with fire, either a fire spell or a fire damage causing item, or as Scythe is showing us, flame. Yep. Jabron does not have to cure these Mad Ogres, although maybe if they heated up a little bit, maybe they'd be less mad. It's worth a try.
I don't know what you're talking about, but usually when they get a little heated, that's when the madness really takes over. Also, showing a very nice little tactic in the fact that the ogres can be sized, so they become very, very tiny and they less ragey, and you do a lot more damage to them.
I like to imagine that they're even more ragey when they're tiny, but it's just adorable. They come out with these high, these squeaky voices. Like, aw, you're tiny and you're tiny and mad. It's adorable. And so while Jabron is cutting those ogres down to size, Scythe Marshall gets through Wyvern and will be ready for his second fight with Leviathan. And there's only 3,000 HP here, so not much time to get that fire spell off.
Yeah, that's why I agree with a lot of the runners. It's whoever you are utilizing first should be the one to throw out your fire spell first. Whether it's the flame, the bomb, fire itself, anything, that should be your order of this is how you take down your enemy. It's cast the spell, get it going, make it work that way.
I did notice one of the summons that Rydia learned was Jin. So yeah. Rydia now has a source of healing. Besides Sylph.
Unfortunately, Jin cannot be cast on your party as much as I would love it to.
And that time the flame goes off, so Scythe still in the good graces of alchemy.
Indeed, is hitting the meta because he does want to maybe have that chance at choosing another fun hero for next. I forget how it is that alchemy rolls around. It's you get to choose the hero or for your next season.
I believe so. I believe that is the. I believe that is the reward for finishing first, doing the meta objective.
That look a shiny new dart.
Yeah. Yeah. At least you can dart that. So Jabron picking up those. We'll see what Scythe gets from this. The warp glitch is on, and he does have Rydia who knows warp at this point. That's an interesting package.
Indeed. Also, so there's some chat going on about the usefulness of Tela depending on your characters. That's only a Bahamut, but that means you don't have to buy it later, so I know that there's going to be some very happiness in that aspect, especially for Scythe Marshall here. The other thing about dealing with those ogres, as we see, they are ogres that, are also technically mages. So if you have any mage preventative gears, such as Aegis Shield, or if you have a rune ring of sorts, you don't even have to worry about the damage they do. You take next to no damage from them. It's a nice little bonus.
It sure is. Scythe heading down into the land of summon monsters while he's making that trek. Do want to thank our tracker, Scarcerer, and our restreamer, Aaron Lore, for putting on the show today. And thank you, Dathis, for looking up the MP overflow and explaining it to us in a way that kind of makes sense, although I still think it's black magic to me.
Oh, no, we don't play magic too. It doesn't have to just be black magic.
It could be Piggy.
It could be. It could also be Toad as we're trying. So we have a vanilla rat tail here. I'm very much a fan of that down here, but also, again, shout out you, Sheep Launcher, for keeping me entertained. One of my favorite people to do commentary with, and one that I do enjoy listening to whenever I'm behind the scenes doing the restreaming.
Oh, there's some wine for sale. The Land of Summon Monsters has the good stuff Bacchus wines.
Yeah, instead of having to worry about stealing any one of them, no big deal. Also, Jabron doing one of his favorite things here, and I'm very much a fan. He is trying to sneak a Lamia harp from this Lamia to back row glitch. To glitch it onto someone. So the way this works, it's not one of those like, oh, this is free enterprise specific. This is actually a way that you can glitch. As you see, it's a harp that you get there, and as the next person queued up gets to utilize it, it's a way that you can glitch shields onto Yang. You can also glitch on this, glitch it onto Yang properly, so you can give him back row access as well. J-Prog is a very much shenanigans of glitching really, really interesting and unique things, because it's just fun to watch, and I'm a fan of it. Also, Samurai Bow.
So, Scythe did take a look at the bosses in the Land of Summon Monsters. Guess what? There's a Kainatsu down there. That... And once again, we are... Actually... With that Kainatsu, we're a Darkness Crystal away from Go mode.
Yeah, it is very nice to see him there. I know there are a lot of people who are always sad because they want to see Leviathan and Elements so that he can do big waves for damage that makes people cry. But you're always a fan of seeing your objectives very early and just getting them out of the way. And Scythe has decided, well, we're going to do the rest of Tower. That is thankfully the Water Hag, so that is not all 3 blue robes.
Now here's what I want to know is, will this fire spell on Water Hag count as a hit?
It should, because the counter script is 3 actions on it.
Ooh. So...
No! Wow.
No!
Yeah, both the flame cast and the flame rod hit do not count. Very interesting interactions. You learn different interactions with every flag set every time.
At first I thought Anna just missed her line. Like, I know it's a dress rehearsal for everybody.
Indeed, but yeah, so it apparently has to be a proper damage number. It's not an attack counter, it is a damage counter, which is very interesting.
Yeah, well, I knew, like, if you missed, that didn't count. But I thought maybe doing some positive option against it that wasn't a miss might count. It does not. Now we know. And knowing is half the battle. The other half is doing 3 hits on Water Hag.
Oh, I thought the other half...
I'd martialized up.
That's what I was always taught.
Here to stop the world from the forces of blue laser.
Jibron doing a little bit of buying here, getting himself a couple of black robes, spending some items in the weapon shop as well. A whole bunch of goodies for the characters he's got. Is finally going to be going down this hook route a little bit behind Scythe, but making sure he has the overworld fairly cleared up and leading in levels too, so should have much less trouble dealing with both this Mom Bomb as well as the plague he's got coming up. But Scythe deals with the Water Hag that has some questionable interactions and dealing with a very free fight afterwards.
Yeah, instead of the Tower of Babel, it's the Tower of Goodwill. Just all kinds of free fights here today.
Yep, let me introduce you to Fire. Here's some good times. And yeah, I very much am a fan of just casting the fire and going.
And so, Palom gives a bonk with the Flame Rod, which should be enough for the meta objective.
I mean, we do have our club captain, Alchemy, who is in chat. She can tell us otherwise, but it seems like it's good enough.
And now Scythe will just wait for them to regain consciousness. Which is good that they're gaining consciousness, because dragging them into the Hades from this high up spot in the Tower of Babel, that would probably hurt. And we did get confirmation that bonking with a fire weapon, just fine, as far as meta objectives are concerned. Hey, we can get underground now!
I really hope J-Run throws that in the well. I love that interaction.
Well, that's gone.
As much as there's so much that is honestly not seen in this randomizer that is done such great work. If you've never done it, I honestly suggest what you do is there's two things you need to do. Mm-hmm. You need to put on free shops with T Wild, so you get some apples. Just give yourself make an apple seed, but with push B to jump at the same time, so that you just spend an entire seed. Just talk to every NPC you have. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have very good help for people who've never played the game before, and a lot of good interesting. And then there's a lot of like random shenanigans that have been replaced with dialogue, and it's great. The reason why I say put it on push B to jump is so that you jump over the trigger for Zeromus, and you go behind him. Not going to spoil it, but there is something that was finally put in behind Zeromus. You gotta go check that out.
Yeah, it's what you need your 50 elixirs for, that you say you're going to use on Zeromus, but never do. That's a pass from the tower team. But yeah, have you ever gone around and talked to all the dwarves in Dwarf Castle? Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there is a lot of good times, and it's very, again, if you haven't done it, take a little bit of time, do so. This, as much as it's a randomizer and it's, you know, things are just are there for help out, and things, just the gameplay stuff. Play these seeds the way that we love seeing them done. We have so many people who do like flags like this, some harder flags, some easier flags, some of our community races, our tournament flags. It's just, there's no wrong way to play Free Enterprise, and that's what I love the most about it. You don't have to play it to race. You can just grab a friend and say, hey, let's see how well we can do on this together, see what fights you had issues with, or let's give you power overwhelming, because I find that fun. A lot of people do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there are the sickos who enjoy making things as difficult on themselves as possible. And that's a fine way to play as well. It's certainly not the only way to play.
Absolutely. Like, you can make these as harder, as easy as you want. We have like that lit 3 seeds where people spent at some point 6 to 8 hours running seeds, because I don't know anybody who's done that. Me.
And Side Marshal had the dream to single dip. Fabul finally gives up on that, will encounter his Valvalis here.
Yeah, the nice thing is getting that fourth objective lit up. He's going to be very happy with seeing that, especially meaning that he's going to be 2 boss fights or 1 boss fight away, because he knows where Kaidnaso is. With that pass in hand, he just needs to go steal some sirens, crack some eggs, and go fight Zeromus at that point. But yeah, it's either we have darkness to do Giant Babel, or we find one of Rubicante or Mylon at that point.
Yeah. So our darkness crystal either has to be behind that pan, which was found at the Twin Harp, which was gained by defending Fabul, or it's behind one of those 2 fights in the Feymarch. And as a reminder, key items in this seed in the main locations That bomb, it really gave Valvalis a bad time. In the main locations or in the summon spots, no key items on the moon today. The moon, though, could contain one or both of a Mylon Rubicant.
Indeed, there is that possibility there. We do see the joys of getting that reflect off, and now we have Life Roulette being played a different way.
Yeah, so taking a little bit of a different tack here. Scythe picks up a Luca key. So, Jay Brunt does take care of that plague and will get his fourth objective momentarily. Luca Cave could have one of the bosses we need. Is it worth trekking all that way when you know you're not going to get the key item, you've gotten it already?
So, as someone who has been bitten by a boss being there, and then at one point, and then never forgetting that again, and then winning a seed by about 20 minutes because people didn't go and check that spot, I very much am a fan of take the 2 minutes, run down, throw a save outside, and then go and take care of the boss. Because either it is important, and you get that out of the way, and everything's fine, or it's not important, and then you don't have to worry about it.
There's something to be said about, just getting it done and not having to worry about it later. Not running the entire seed with the sense of dread, like, am I leaving something behind? Is there something that I could be doing instead I'm chasing this other thing?
Yeah, so the comment shout from our restreamer, our lord's like, well, if you're looking at, well, you know what, there's the rat tail, so we don't really need to have to worry about this. But if we were to play around that, and rat tail was not exactly darkness, we did get our pass already, so all we are looking for is literally just any boss to fight. So that one boss check, I would 100% take, because that means I am then in go mode. I can go back to the tower, steal some sirens, get my levels, beat Zeromus, and then kind of call it a day at that point, especially with the 10 key items we got here, which gives us double experiences we have set in this randomizer.
Jabron immediately going to use that pan on Yang. Oh, and Scythe is going to sneak some sirens, it looks like.
It looks like he's listening in on the booth today.
More people should do that. We're pretty smart.
What?
No, you should not do that. Definitely watch afterward, because that's a really fun way to pick up on what your opponents are doing. But yeah, don't drop in on the booth while you're racing. That's bad. And so, Side Marshal officially in go mode now, knows where Kainatsu is. Also has to complete the Giant of Babel. Are there any boss spots available that you would want to kind of check to try and not do that giant?
I would 100% be checking Luca Cave, just because at that point it could be there, done, gone, you're good. You do your sirens and go, and that saves you having to do possibly both fights of the giant, and it's a slightly faster run than going through the entirety of the giant and taking care of both bosses. If it turns out to be no good, then yeah, you lose out on those, like, I think minute and a half, 2 minutes, depending on how fast you can run that gamut. But yeah, that's definitely what you do. Question from our tracker, Ribbon Room from EXP. No, you don't even do that at this point. I think Scythe has got the idea here. Steal, I think, maybe 10 sirens tops.
Yeah, definitely. Once you commit to this siren farming, you don't need to check anywhere else for EXP. And Scythe has the pass, so if you're going to go up to the moon and go that deep into the LST, better have a really good reason. I don't think going up just for that EXP is gonna do it.
Yeah, this is basically now we're gonna life up some people. I think he might do. See, this is really interesting. Is what are you gonna do with these sirens? Are you gonna just take them, go down, and grab, and just throw coffins at them to make sure you get your experience? Are you going to go maybe crack them on the moon and get even more experience, or what are we gonna do? But I see, yeah, coffins definitely much. Or does he not have the money for them?
Yeah, took a look and knew they were here, but maybe surprised at the funds he is lacking. He's looking for something.
Yeah, we can see he's still looking through the item shops for something, which we're gonna have to poke his brain about that afterwards when we interview him. Hourglass. Okay, so Hourglass 3 is. I think he might be going to do Dragons on the Moon.
Ooh. Yeah, and he's gonna pick up a 4-pack of hourglasses.
Fourth Winter's not knowing it, but they're in the same place at the same time at one point.
High five.
This is interesting. We're gonna have to ask Scythe about what his plan was. I mean, what his thought was looking for. Maybe he was looking for just hourglass ones, but from the looks of this is definitely I'm gonna go take out some of the gold dragons on the moon, which not bad. They are more experienced, and especially when you can get life glitches on them, it's a lot of experience per kill, but you have to be able to kill them fast.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see his routing at this point. Presumably, he'll take care of that grind, then go immediately to the giant, and try and end up with Kainatsu in the Land of Summoned Monsters before using the pass to go to Zeromus.
Fair. Also being put in chat, Tella does have weak, and that is fair, but he only has 3 casts of weak, and if you're taking a 4-pack of sirens, or 4-pack of hourglasses, that means you're fighting between 4 to 6 enemies, usually.
Although the MP underflow glitch is on, and we'll see if Scythe has that in his bag of tricks.
Very true.
This would be a good time to show it off. If he has that available to him.
I don't think I've ever seen Scythe do the MP underflow glitch. That doesn't say that he doesn't know how to do it or hasn't done it in the past, but that's just a thought that I personally haven't seen him do in some races. He could have it, and he could have learned, so there's that.
And so Scythe getting ready to go. Unfortunately, since there are no fireplaces on the moon, has to use the bed in the whale to heal up. That's really, I mean, if you're going to design the moon to be visited, to be inhabited, you would think you'd add some more amenities, such as healing fireplaces.
You'd think that, however, we don't have healing amenities in the fireplaces, but for those of you who've never really explored the Crystal Palace, where Fusoya is, the left and right sides, those actually have an HP recovery spot and an MP recovery spot.
That's true.
I know a lot of people kind of just like run up and down and kind of go, but no, that's what we have there. Also, Jabron making very, very short work with some bonus levels on these bosses here, both again being Wyvern with the charm and Leviathan with the get out of here. Gonna be warping, getting his Bahamut. Gonna be happy to have his Rydia with that.
And so, but Jabron, I don't think has Rydia in his party.
Oh, I thought. Oh, right. He traded Rydia for
Edward.
Edward in this aspect.
And Jabron picks up his package. Neither runner has given much thought to the package. You don't get a character. It's a very long check. But what if Mylon were back there? Interesting.
I'm a big fan of checking random spots like that too. You can go and grab it real quick for a quick couple of bosses. The package one at this point, when you have the Darkness Crystal, I'm less inclined to do it because you just have other options. Like you can just go and do that, and it's roughly about the time to go and get through both of those fights, depending on what your power is, than what it is to do the package. Early package, sub about 20 minutes, 100% check.
Scythe Marshal grinding on Gold Dragons did give us a peek at the Cave Value boss. It is a Sparkle. There's only one left. It's pale to him. And as a reminder, this spot could contain a key item. Not necessarily important to Scythe, so we'll see if Scythe just leaves this pale dim behind.
Also, Scythe not caring about the life glitching and is just utilizing Iridia with that Bahamut, and Bahamut just kind of looking at these enemies and going, please leave.
Yeah, Bahamut saying, "Who are you that's calling yourselves king?"
Get out of my house!
Now, the only way that Scythe not going for a key item could bite him, potentially, is if Baron Castle had both Rubicon and Mylon in it. We know the first enemy in Baron Castle is the Dark Imps.
This is true. However, I do think the fact that he knows what the Kanazo is, getting those levels, and then doing the giant is just, it's easier. And again, the fact that we have so many boss locations open, we have all 5 spots on the moon that we can't see or haven't seen yet, plus we have Luca and package as well. It's kind of hard to and Jbrun forgetting that meta objective, has to go back and do both fights here.
Yeah, Jbrun started with the Water Hag in the Super Cannon room, so has only did one spot, but yeah, does need to show Water Hag how much he cares with a liberal application of fire. You gotta do it or your run is invalid. It is a required meta objective today.
Indeed. But yeah, we do see a couple of life glitches now really happening. The 180k, that is very much beneficial because every 2 fights is a bonus siren at this point. And as much as we like to just like go fast with the kills, like, we kind of need a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Also realizing Iridia was out of MP and making liberal use of all the ethers from the city it could.
Yep, both of our runners started with 70 ethers, as well as 70 tier 2 potions, 70 life potions, 70 heal potions. 70 heal potions led the big parade. And now that now that Scythe has the MP back to normal, Blarg can keep on doing Blarg things.
Absolutely, and looking like he's getting closer to being the end of his grind, not only because he's almost out of sirens, but also because those levels are really starting to creep up at the point where he can just blow up the rest of the overworld. Or the rest of the overworld, rest of the moon, and rest of the giant.
Yeah, probably wants to get the kid to nuke, you would think.
Definitely the goal. I think Iridia is definitely close. That HP, yeah, learning Fatal, I know she's close. Palom, right there, just learned it. She, I think, is one more, 49. Yeah, she's super there.
And Scythe says, let's blow this popsicle stand. I got things to do.
Yeah, getting nuke on the kid is all you're really going to need. Iridia will get nuked by nature of the 2 bosses that you have to do. He's doing giant, as we see. You're going to get that. Going to do Kainazo. There's the last experience he's going to need.
Very heads-up play by Scythe to avoid an extra Moon to Earth animation.
Yep, well, having to land and then having to go talk to the gentleman and to move you around as opposed to just land one fell swoop.
Meanwhile, King, Queen, Evelyn are here to give Jay Brunter a little respite. Now, Edge using Flame against his own parents, that really seems cruel.
No, he's just trying to heal his parents. He's like, Mom, Dad, I don't know how to help you except this way.
Well, his parents certainly healing him. Lots of HP at this spot. So, Scythe, we saw once the fire spell was cast, just waited for their inevitable demise. Jabrunt's going to try and whittle them down, but probably not going to do it. Just doesn't have the damage output right now.
No, even with the HP being divided, it's still way more on the King of Evelyn versus the Queen, because it's once he's put down, then the Queen just follows suit on her next turn, which I think is an interesting interaction on how that worked. But yeah, this is where you just kind of put down the controller, heal, put down the controller, and go.
And as a reminder, we do have 3 total runners, 2 on Restream, plus another who is off-stream. No finishers yet. So Scythe really in a good position here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see whether it's going to have the Scythe on Restream that's going to take first spot, whether it's our unnamed, unshowcased runner who's still going to be showing off. That's 4 enemies that are normally supposed to be here, but those are the wrong sprites.
Yeah, a little sprite switcheroo. And this time it's the officer who is so good as to heal us up. Scythe will return the favor. And using a coffin on the officer, the soldiers will go on and beat themselves up, and also getting a life glitch off. So this will nightly
because of the actions.
Yeah, this will nicely top off his EXP.
And I think that was Rydia definitely casting Jin, which is very nice, very heads up.
And hopefully Rydia can get that off before the soldiers just beat themselves up. The attack power here is not that high, so we'll have plenty of time.
And then we even have Palom casting Stone on all the enemies after Jin goes off. So yeah, very short work of what could be a very scary spot with some aspects, but not in this one. Question chat, how much health is split to them? Honestly, I do not know. I know it's the majority of the XP is on the gentleman in the back. I'm going to say he's probably going to get about 60% of the HP from there. Maybe?
I think that's about right. It's something like 70% to the officer and 10% to each of the soldiers, but that's give or take.
Yeah, it's hard to really tell how much exactly without being able to go into the code, which I'm very curious, and I'd love to know how it's scripted, but it's not that big of a deal to just kind of coffin away the one in the back. Now, the real question is, what is going to be here? Because there's some spooky things can be here.
Yeah, we haven't seen...
Goblet is not one of them, but it's entertaining. So, question, Alchemy: do you have to do bomb? Or do you have to use bomb on every single one of these fights?
You don't. The meta objective makes clear that with bosses with multiple stages, you only have to do it on one stage. So, Scythe has 6 fights in which to get one flame off, and there it is. Doesn't have to worry about it for the rest of the fight. So, Scythe is going to be good and ready to take on Zeromus after this.
So, this is probably the best giant you could have done, and to not sleep on, because of just how free the experience is here.
Yeah.
Even with one life glitch, that would have been more XP than what would have been necessary. And yeah, this is going to be just super power overwhelming for the Zeromos. I think Tella might even hit like 1300 HP. Maybe.
Yeah, Thel's already at 1139, which is about 200 more than he typically has in a hero seed at a Zeromus fight.
Oh, in a hero seed. Okay, I was going to say it's way more HP than he normally has.
So I think our runners are going to consider themselves lucky that they don't have to tangle with that Baigen in the queen spot. Jabrun doesn't know that yet. He hasn't found the darkness crystal, but that Baigen is just rude.
Yeah, very much thankful that that Baigen is not going to be a problem, and we're just going to be able to rip through this Kainazo here, minus his occasional punches.
And Scythe seals his fight with a kiss. Just in case there are any Toad ladies out there.
Very true. Another thing I kind of forgot about is the fact that Tella is your only source of blink in this scene, and I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very, very spooky fight to be taking at these levels. If I was in Jay Brunder's spot, I would kind of reset out, go get some XP somewhere, and then come back, because this is going to be a long slog of a fight.
Yeah, and the Siren Sneak is available to Jabrun as well, and eggs will be a little bit slower than the gold dragons, but not by much, and they have the advantage of being right out here.
He has a Dragoon Spear, so the only reason it'll be slower is the fact that he's not getting all that XP in one shot.
Yeah. There are illusions for sale, as our restreamer points out, and they were in Fabul, I believe.
True. I completely zoned on the illusions. A great item for so many different reasons. Now the real question is, are we going to have enough Thor rages to get us through this? Because he's going to have to constantly it's just like Thor rage every time its edge's turn, and poor Tella is going to get like a turn every 10 minutes.
Like, hey guys, wait for me! Wait for me!
As I do stuff, right? Right.
So Jabrun has 6 Thor rages left, so yeah, he's going to be using most, if not all of them.
Getting up to Palom's going to make it a lot nicer, but this is where we're in real spooky territory, because you have to get some blinks up on your characters. Like, this would be leave, get some of those illusions, come back. Whereas Scythe Marshal is just going to have the HP where he just will not care.
Yeah. Scythe Marshal gonna go Burr here. Gonna put poor Kainatsu in the microwave.
Yeah, 2 sources of nuke. We have 3 if you want to really count Rydia having 2 different aspects of it. Yeah, this is unfortunately just going to be a bad time. But yeah, big ups to Jabrun for knowing how to handle his agility and handle the turns, and just constantly throwing out these storages, because this wave would really hurt if it ever comes out.
Yeah, this wave would obliterate his party. The way it's structured now, but Jabrun hanging in there, being not only a consummate showman, being very cagey.
Unfortunately, down goes Kane, so this would be honestly not what you really want. You would have wanted Tella to take one of these hits maybe so that he could be knocked down, but yeah, this is a wave. Kainazo waves goodbye, Jabrun, says, hey, come back later, maybe.
Gonna give it another shot.
I love the gumption.
Yes. Like, I'll show you who's a turtle.
Yep, I'm a big fan. J-Brun, throw on that Thunderclaw. There ain't no law when you got a Thunderclaw.
and the bomb does heal Kainatsu, but only for 1. And so this wave, not that much worse. And in fact, everybody weathers that. Everybody weathers that wave. But yeah, that was a big amount.
Yeah, after a couple of nukes coming out, but yeah, there's a max damage one from Rydia. That's all done but the crime for Kainazo. That is Scythe March's objective. That is the crystal in hand, and he is officially ready to go fight Zeromus.
Yes. That and Scythe Marshal has the pass in hand, does not need to make another trip to the moon, has all the levels he needs. That's a Baron key, and nobody cares.
Well, so unfortunately, we wouldn't have a Baron key hiding Mylon and Rubicante today, so it wouldn't be one of those objectives that we could. We'll leave this guy Nazo alone. Sorry, boss, you kind of can't.
Yeah, it could contain Mylon and Rubicante. Who knows?
If I was J-Brum and he gets to this and he finds that, I would 100% chase that for the simple fact of you could just leave the Giant of Babel alone. He doesn't know how good of a grind it is, but there's a lot of bosses out there that you kind of look and go, they don't make me want to go and fight and find what's on there. One of which has actually been our resident comedian, Golbez. So you don't want to fight him on there. Thankfully, we know he's not there, but you know.
Yeah, Golbez on the Giant, never a good time. And so, Scythe, making those final preparations, did you happen to catch the agility that Edge has?
I thought I saw 42, but I think it could have been 42 in another spot.
42 would be a very nice agility for Zeromus. It's one of those multiples of 14.
According to the chat, is 42 the answer? 42 is hopefully the answer, because if it is, that means that we have a nice, easily manipulatable agility for Zeromus. If not, it's going to be shenanigans abound, in which case I think that both Rydia and Palom might be casting Fire 3 on our party the entire time.
Yeah, the 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything, and also Zeromus, at least if the question is, what's a good agility to make sure that you can get relative agility for Zeromus. But we're about to find out what Zeromus is going to be dressed up as today.
Indeed, I was going to say, I'm like, wait, is that the only question we have for Zeromus? Is 42 relevant? But yeah, Sheaf Launcher, you got to bring us in. What question do we like to chat with all of these Z flags that are out?
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Not using fire spells. Although we do have to heal Zeromus just once, Scythe has to take on the meta objective one more time.
Indeed, and the heal does have to land, so you can't just like throw it out in this form where Zeromus is untargetable. You have to wait for him to be targeted and then be able to do so. I am curious as to if are going to see some reflects from Scythe's team. So
yeah, we'll see if Scythe has any bombs left. Not only will that fulfill the meta objective. If he does it at the right time, it will nerf one of those big bangs.
Indeed. And Zeromus changes, and we have K. Dicemus from, I believe, Cuphead.
Yes. Have you ever gambled with the devil in the moonlight?
I can honestly say I have never gambled with the devil in the moonlight.
I could say that as well, I think. Yeah, a really hard boss in Cuphead. You know, they're all hard. Cuphead's a brutal game. But perfect for a really tough boss in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise.
Indeed. Also, question, we haven't seen the heal come out from him yet. I guess the site's going to wait to use it as a nerf on another big bang?
Could be. Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. Yeah, use the slow to nerf it this time.
Yeah, I saw him hovering over the bomb. Might be waiting for later. Ugh, this is kind of spooky. Rydia is at low enough HP where if it rolls high enough, it could knock her down. Although her magic defense is big enough because she has a very high wisdom stat, which makes her just not care.
Yeah, that was her HP was a little bit scary, but that big bang only hit her for 227. Here comes the bomb.
And Scythe have 100% taken care of all the meta objectives, and Tella has taken his nap.
Yep, very good target on that counter nuke. If it couldn't come off of edge, it had to come on. It was a good target for Tella. Rydia does get the Fire 3 off. Top everybody off.
The only problem with Fire 3, though, is the fact that the animation is so long, especially when you have some lag frames like this. It's unfortunate, but I do love it.
Yeah, and I suppose that Fire 3 would have satisfied the meta objective all by itself, but the bomb was thrown to nerf this big bang if the timing is right.
It was not.
No nerf.
The shake came after the nerf, so the shake is what resets it on anything but the first one. So it was a little early. And poor Kain is going to be kissing. Oh no, he still stands.
Ooh, Kain betrayed you.
He occasionally makes a liar out of me.
Scythe has one Star Veil left.
Yeah, this black hole coming out at a good time so we can get the Fire 3 off, hopefully. Also, unfortunate, Jabrun's side still plugging away at this Kainazo. I love Kainazo, and I love the idea of going up, but yeah, Jabrun just saying, nope, we're gonna come back later. And I agree with that.
Yeah, only so many times you can bash your head against a wall. And yeah, Jabrun says, I lost now, but I shall return.
Indeed, he will. Also, a comment is like, the heal from the Fire 3 is very low. Yes, unfortunately, the joys of the fact that magic defense kind of hinders what goodies you get to do with your own spell casts. And Jabrun finds his darkness finally.
And Rydia going to do Asura? Does Scythe get lucky? Yes. A nice heal from Asura there.
Yep, that's where you keep up a wall and just say, no, we're just gonna Asura heal and not Fire 3, because it's, as nice as it is, it's not as reliable. Also, reflecting whites with Kain's attacks, I'm a big fan.
And Kain doesn't even have MP. That is a low attack wipe, but what do you want from Kain?
Yeah, so any of these spears that Kain gets to wield to utilize to cast spells on, they have a magic power of 8, so it's not like the big cast of what they have as it is. It's very, very low spell power, so that's the benefit. The benefit and trade-off, it's really great in the early game, but it is not fantastic in the late game.
Hallam getting into the danger zone here. Another black hole, and I don't think Scythe has any more Star Veils left.
I'm pretty sure that's why he brought Tella back up, so that he could utilize a wall cast from him.
Jabrun did turn in that rat tail, found the darkness crystal, knows he's in go mode, and now has to figure out how he's going to get there.
Also, we had to have had damage counting from Scythe, because he's being very cautious not to have anybody do any damage. I personally haven't been counting, so I know he's got to be a nuke cast or 2 away, or else he wouldn't have taken this, because this is a gambit right here. You The only person who is going to survive an unnerved Big Bang is going to be Kane. He's going to barely survive. He will be able to get people back up, but it's not going to be easy. But yeah, perfect counting. One last nuke from Rydia. Crack, bang, boom. K-Dicemus knockdown. GG's to Scythe Marshall. We'll see if we can't get him in here, but whoo, what an ending.
The numbers came up great for Scythe Marshall and K-Dicemus rolls Snake Eyes. Scythe Marshall finishing in first place with an official time of 1:31:48. GG's to Scythe Marshall. That was, I love as a viewer, those kind of Z fights where you're right on the edge of making the big play. Scythe had nerves of steel, gets it done.
Indeed, and kind of looking just... It was a fight that could have gone very questionable, especially if he was not ready, or if Zeromus was just that little bit faster. Could have gotten one more action, another Big Bang would have made that very, very scary. But, again, reflex strats, you skip an entire phase of Zeromus at that point. No HP, nothing, just kind of go. Speaking of HP and going, J-Brunter, I hope you have a couple of hourglasses because you're about to gain a whole bunch of HP on your players with all this. And speaking of, Scythe Marshall, GG's.
GG's. That fight didn't quite go as planned, but you know what? We're there.
A little spooky, my friend?
I mean, if I had remembered that my Fire 3 cast would bounce off the Veil and heal Zeromus, that would have helped. If I had remembered that Rydia had Ashura at the beginning of the fight, that would have helped. I think I never found Veils, or if I did, I just didn't buy them. Well, I found them. I bought one. One more Veil could have helped.
They were in Fabul, actually, if I remember.
Yeah, I know I bought one, but I didn't buy more than one.
Well, you had just enough Veils, and that's what Tell is for, right?
That's what Tell is for.
Yeah, you raise up Tella, he has 5 HP, he's ready to go.
He's fine.
It's fine. So let's go with the opening of this scene. You're starting off with your Edge, as we all know and love that he's 100% going to be there, or Rubicante, as we'll call him today. So you have Ruby, and you see Hallam wants to come and say hello and tag along with you. Big difference between you and J-Brun. J-Brun picked him up later, said no right now. You snap took him. What made you want to snap take him?
Well, I guess for me, I wanted to ensure a mage, and Quake is good, and Palom gets access to Fire 1 right off the bat, so if I were trying to do something more interesting, then maybe I would dart with Edge and then cast Fire 1 or something, which I did a lot in the early game, actually. And I'd been looking at the possible characters, and I said, well, Palom is kind of slow, but also, I want that mage character. So I figured I was going to use him regardless. Also, I know what the flags are, but sometimes I'm like, no, I'm just going to take Palom, even though I could have just waited, because realistically, the seed could have turned into Fu, lots of Fu, but it didn't.
Yeah, and that was the nice thing about the flags, is that you had access to all 7 characters you knew were going to be in the seed right away. So what led you to pick the party that you ultimately went with?
So I found a Leviathan super early, and I was like, I wanted Rydia to begin with, because Rydia, what I find is the faster your anchor is, the more value you get out of the big summons, because they're just more turn efficient. You're not getting bopped 3 times while you're waiting for Bahamut to go off. So I was always going to take Rydia, and then Kane, I wanted a speedy Zerker to keep up with Edge, and Kane was that guy. And then
And you knew you had to encounter Valvalis at some point.
also, I didn't think about that, but because like you could just chuck stuff at Val and that works too. But it turned out to be very useful for getting the fire heal. In fact, Val at some spots would probably have made the fire heal impossible without physical fire damage.
Which you found.
Because the fire would have just whiffed, and that wouldn't count. Huh. Well, anyway, we didn't have to deal with that, so...
And so you found Keinatsu in the Land of Summon Monsters and knew you were a darkness crystal away from go mode. What was your thought process when you did find that darkness crystal? Did you right away know how you were going to grind what you needed to do?
Well, I'd been toying with the idea of siren grinding, because with this party, the way it was composed, I could have done a D machine. I didn't really want to do a D machine because I would have had to screw around with Edge's agility. Even I did end up messing around with Edge's agility anyway, but Tella's slow, so making sure that he's up to speed is good. And I never found Hermes, and I don't know. I just didn't think that would be good. And then I figured, well, I'm gonna do a siren grind. And I knew I could have done eggs, I guess, but I figured King Ryu's with hourglasses was gonna be just fine because I had Bahamut, and that was gonna be okay. I hadn't made up my mind about do I just dive the moon to see if I can find bosses there? So I skipped the giant. I guess it didn't matter, but I thought about it and then realized, well, I could just do the giant and then I can blow Keinatsu up with nuke and then we're done. So that was my thought process about grinding, was now that I am in go mode, I am going to grind to double nuke and blow the seed up. That mostly worked as intended. The officer fight was so the seed is dynamically programmed, right? If you do a 10 item siren grind before doing objective giant, then it's always going to be an XP sponge boss at the beginning.
And there were 2 of them on the giant this time.
Oh my god, the gauntlet was and then I paused at the beginning of it being and it's vanilla gauntlet, and I knew it was vanilla gauntlet, but I was I don't even know what to do. Whatever, just this spot doesn't have a lot of hit points. Just punch the just punch the things.
And something that was really remarkable to me was that you only had to reset once due to not getting the meta objective, which is phenomenal.
I reset once, but it was the worst one to reset, I think.
Having to redo that wyvern.
I was I don't know. I was oh no, I could lose because of wave, because the spot is fast, and I'm not really anchored well here, so I'm going to cast Sylph, and then I jumped, and I was oh no, oh no, oh no. Kind of unfortunate.
But you were able to experience Wyvern's charms again, so that was nice.
I can't believe Palm didn't cast Quake.
Or Nuke. Or Meteor.
I mean, he didn't have those because it was
True.
it was too early in the seed for that, but I was the first time I went through that fight, Charm bounced off of Kane. I'm okay, that makes sense. Reasonable. But then I was like, why didn't it hit any of my other characters? This spot has good magic, like spell power. So like, I guess I just got lucky both times.
And one other thing I wanted to know is, do you have the MP underflow glitch in your bag of tricks?
Oh, I do. Tella doesn't have Cure 4. That's the way I usually use MP Underflow. I forgot about it by the time I probably would have needed it up at Cave Bahamut when Rydia ran out of MP. I forgot about it there, but like I would have cast Toad? Probably. Would have just repeatedly toaded Tella, I guess. Yeah, it was. Oh well, I lost time on that, but also, it's fine. Like,
yeah, you didn't need it.
Yeah, like MP glitch didn't help Edge, and Tella didn't have the big MP draining spells to make it sort of useful, and Palom never ran out of MP. So really, the only time I was sort of like punched by it was the grind. I thought, oh yeah, like early in the seed, I thought, oh man, I got Tella online early. I'm gonna cast Meteo, and then I was like, but it's gonna be such a pain in the butt to underflow Tella's MP. Whatever.
Well, the last question from me is just that this flag set's so interesting in having Rubicant, the honorable fiend, be the hero, be the one who goes on this journey. What did you think of the flag set overall?
I thought it was fun. It's the meta objective was a little bit of like, okay, how do I finagle this? But it was fun. The thing that I find interesting though is that, like a lot of Sea Hero flag sets, the seed kind of turned into, all right, like Edge is the hero, he's gonna do all the work for 2/3 of the seed, and then the black mages are gonna step in and chuck nuke. And then I probably could have done RA2's Roma strats with the curse ring on the final fight, and that would have been maybe funnier. Yeah, I would have like curse ring, Mura, ninja shirt, I think works. And then he would have been even more useless. But like, I don't know. I don't. I guess the flags are limited in the sense that your anchoring situation is always based on your hero, and so you want to slow your hero down sometimes. Oh well. I think S Wild was like, okay, this is cool, but also I saw the crystal sword in the third shop I checked, and then Cecil wasn't in the seat, so okay, whatever. I did very little shopping in the end. Like I was checking item shops. I'm like, I'm done. So I don't know if that was intended, but it's what I did. It was fun though. It was a pretty entertaining seed to run.
Daptus, anything else for our first place finisher, Side Marshal?
Only question: do you have a character in mind for choice for next week's?
Well, the last time I picked one, I picked last week's flag set, and then we didn't get to showcase it. But it was really fun because it was Sheila. I'm gonna look at Alchemy's list and be like, all right, which one do I care about but also don't really think is like a great restream one? I don't know. We'll see. I have to make that decision later.
No, aside from that, that's all I got then.
Well, GG's once again, and happy picking for the next Baron's Heroes Journey club race. As you said, it won't be restreamed next week, but every other Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll get to see this again. GG's once again, Side.
Yeah, thanks. Shoutouts to Comms, Dathis, and G-Bontrud. Did great, probably. Scars are on tracking, do a great job. Aaron, Laura, thank you for restreaming. And I guess I will mention that like it's restreamed every 2 weeks, but then the off weeks, Alchemy is doing watch parties. So if you wanted to, you could still watch a couple of us run the race with a little bit of commentary. So, anyways, take care, folks. GG's, everyone.
Yeah, and as Scythe said, that is very true. Even on the non-official restreamed weeks, we do have the watch party, and hop on the Discord to find out where to stream that. Because, even without Dathis and me, these races are still really fun.
Yeah, very much enjoy commentating on these races with you, Sheep. And a lot of them are, like, I love the concept of Baron's Hero's Journey. They've gotten better and better as Alchemy has grown as a flag roller. Really, really great to see them go. And it's great to see Jay Bruncher doing 3 grinds in a row.
Yeah, he did his D machine.
Everything else.
And you did mention it earlier, Dathis, how the D machine grind essentially free, and once Jay Brunter found it, all the D machine could do was heal. And so so normally there is a character at the end of the giant. Now no earned characters are found, but if the mode is the giant, if completing the giant is a mode to have as an objective, just as the Fiends were a mode, there is no character there even with earned characters on. So no Piggy at the giant in this seed.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, but I think even without the with it not as an objective, it's still there's no Piggy that brings you out either, is there?
I believe it is if it's an objective, like if it's something that is a random objective, for example. I believe that doesn't change the fact that there's a character waiting there at the end, and that would include a Piggy in no earned.
Because I'm looking at the flags, and it's O-Mode Fiends with Quest Falcon and Giant, not O-Mode Giant.
Huh. Well, it wouldn't be the first time that I said something I didn't know about.
Yeah, I was looking and I'm like, is this an O-Mode Giant? Which, I mean, that would have made a little bit more sense, but no. It's very interesting. I wish there was a Piggy that kind of led you through and kind of like fell down with you and spun.
Yeah.
And then kind of just like disappears off afterwards.
Where I've seen one there.
Could have, but maybe not. But yeah, now we have Jay Brun coming back and being like, "Oh, you dare approach me directly?" And whereas we saw nukes coming from Scythe Marshal sides, we're about to see 2 very unhappy men take a shot of Red Bull and just like, we're going.
Yeah, this this turtle is not going to have a fun time, and quite frankly deserves that for all of the misery he inflicted on Jay Brun earlier.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, like, this wave is going to hit pretty hard, but you do kind of want it up the entire time, because that is going to allow Edge with this Thunderclaw do a lot of damage. Yeah, it does tickle Portella a little bit, but you can just leave this as is and let your boys do your thing. If this is just nuke, go have a good time. Is that a swag media I saw him get?
It sure looked like it. And this young mage is taking a long time to cast the spell. Nuke would have been called by now. Yes. Yes, time for Kainata to experience the fury of all the rocks. Pella goes down.
Dream. Rocks fall, everybody that's not what I want dies.
Oh, is Kainata going to get out of it by dying first?
Maybe. It's close.
Still hiding. Yeah, your fallout shelter's not going to help you when Meteor comes around.
Well, that actually will take off an attack round or two from both of the boys, so that might be enough for us to see Swag Rocks. There they are.
Yeah. And J-Brun did the meta objective. No worries there. Quad 9 Meteo. And I'm going to pretend that that was a W Meteo with Edward helping out behind the scenes.
Yep, he's in the back going, I can help you cast rocks too. Yeah, could you imagine if him going in a shell actually gave him increased magic defense too? Oh, that'd be brutal.
That would be. Just like... and the shell allows the rocks to just bounce off of him, and he doesn't take damage. That'd be something. But no, Meteo is more powerful than that. It's more than just a pesky hailstorm or something.
Yeah, it is very much the damage. But J-Brun has gotten that last objective, all 6 completed, same 6 as Scythe, and we have gotten our way to, we're going to get our way to Zeromus because he has every way possible. The only key items he is missing is the spoon, which we know is going to be behind Asura at Baron, I think I saw. As we will not find the adamant rock, but I didn't see where that one was.
So I happened to notice from the roll on side to side, that was behind that Baigen at the Queen spot.
Oh, we're definitely not finding that.
Yep, no. And that's something you don't see every day. J-Brun is selling an Hourglass 3. The S quarter is on, so all your doesn't get you as far as it used to. But picking up a Masa or two. And this ninja gonna be even angrier at a certain Kate Ismus.
58 agility, that's a little high, but I mean... we can make it happen.
The faster to kill you with, my dear. Yeah, could be a little bit of a scary fight, but J-Brun has been in worse Z situations, I believe.
The real question is, where are the Cure 3s?
Seriously. S Wild is on, and I haven't seen Cure 3s
Bro,
for sale anyway. Hey!
Oh, just come back, J-Brun. Yeah, just exit the shop, come back and be like, yo, I wanted to give you money. Why did you leave me alone?
Shut up and take my money!
I have Gil for you! Give
What
me
is
what
so
you have.
What is interesting? So interesting on that back wall. Oh, another ninja shirt.
Ballistics expert.
Nice.
Oh man.
Not
the NPCs are the worst.
Yeah, Tamra is just a town of horrors today.
They look 100% say Troya is way worse than Tamra.
Well, I'm just talking today. Yeah. Troya has a bunch of NPCs, of course. It's the famous one in Kaipo.
No, you get out of the way. That old lady is the reason why I wait a little bit longer, push her out of the way, and then come back. It's like, I will like wait, okay, now she's going up. Alright, now I'll go buy my items because I don't want her to block me, and I hate it. Yes, Jay.
Yes! Yes!
So, a little bit about this. The magma key is the, quote, logical way to get underground in the game. This is what was programmed in if you get the magma key and throw it down afterwards. Oh, that's gone.
That's gone. Dagger, by the way, underrated in NPCs that could absolutely ruin your day, especially if you need a weapon and you have to go into the weapon shop.
100% agree. It's very much not where you want to go. But this is exactly where Jabron wants to go, deciding I've got enough. Gonna be hopefully shopping and saving before running into Zeromus. Hello? But is looking for some Cure 3s. Not finding them.
No.
Assuming looking for Cure 3s.
No, but how about eye drops? Are those Cure 3s?
Apples are Cure 3s, kind of.
Yeah. Only has enough money for one, though. Better be a very tasty apple.
Yeah, give it to our Spoony Bard. Here we go.
Yes. And so, as a reminder, there are three.
If she had gone down, I'd be like, see, and that's what she's the worst.
Actually, being semi-kind, and Jbrun is going to continue his world tour.
There is one spot I know he hasn't definitely gone to go and look for them. I don't think anybody's really dipped into Silvara. Sorry, Jbrun.
He's gonna sneak a Silk Web.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, sent to P tier.
Looking for them.
I guess Jbrun never checked the public treasury because there was a Silk Web waiting for him right there. And he had to pay 86 gil for the privilege.
You know what? I'll take 86 gil the cost of those as opposed to the, 2k they are normally?
Yeah. I always like that when you run away, you drop GP in this game. Like they just spill out of your pockets because you're raising your legs.
It's like pocket sand. It's a distraction to the NPCs.
That is a very high number of agility. This will be a fun fight.
I'm excited to watch because Jbrun does shenanigans, and I'm all about that.
Yes, let's shenan again. Have a good time.
I know as viewers, we definitely are going to have a good time.
And as a reminder, Jbrun has the ability to gain second place. We do not yet have a finish from the other runner.
Yeah, and especially with doing the meta objective as well, I'm very much excited to watch him take care of this. This has been a seed which has been great to watch. Would have been fun to run, not gonna lie, but definitely one that is entertaining to see what happened.
For sure. And while Jbrun gets into the fight, I want to thank one more time our tracker Scarcerer, our restreamer Aaron Lore, and let's get ready to roll them bones.
Also, I know we've been kind of plugging the community here and there. If you are not part of it, you 100% should be part of our Discord. We flagged it in a couple of times. Go ahead and join in if you think this is fun. Play the game however difficult or easy as you want, or if you just have any questions. We are 100% here to talk. We have our sages, which are great to give information from. We have our club leaders, which give a whole bunch of different information back and forth. And yeah, there's so many good bits of information we have. We have the wiki, which I showed earlier, that gives us like a little bit of help if you're ever lost. There's just always people who are willing to help and willing to teach. So if you ever think, oh, I want to see what this is like, and maybe I should try this, we can 100% help you do all these sorts of things if you want to do it from competitive or just very casually.
Jbrun takes care of the meta objective right away. A bit of an unfortunate nuke target there, but Palom will weather it.
Very readily. 900 damage counter nuke.
And also going to toss out that Silk Web right away.
I kind of agree with it. You do want to get the speed down on the Roman as quickly as possible. And again, getting nuke on a target, which is kind of okay, can weather it very readily. And you're kind of just going to have Tela Berserk up, maybe cast some fires. Yeah, definitely a nice, easy, leisurely couple hundred damage from the opening. And yeah, we didn't see the fire threes. We have our poor Palom cosplaying as Porum today.
Yeah. Do you think this will cause him to listen to his sister from now on?
No.
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 Of course not.
Absolutely not. So we did see Scythe Marshals. Rydia was doing about 1,100, yeah, 13-ish hundred from Palom, which is really nice to have.
And Tala already needing some replenishing of MP. And kind of an irrelevant Fire 3. Not necessary, but yeah. But the two beefy boys in the front are swinging away.
Yeah, this is I think you just Bacchus up Eddie as well, and then you have your, you have the kid of Palom just on there as Fire 3 duty on your party, just because this is gonna hurt. This is gonna bring Palom low. Kane and Edge will be about half HP, give or take. Palom will be, and Eddie will be taking a decent chunk.
When J-Brun decides to go for a little bit of a hybrid strat there, get some more damage in with that nuke, and will presumably reserve Tela for that Fire 3 healing duty.
Oh, he's not going to live through this.
Yeah, this Big Bang coming up will not be nerfed, so it'll be full-throated.
We actually may have skipped a phase already.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, the joys of having our boy Edge here doing roughly about 3,500, and Kane doing between 2.5 to 3-ish, just over 3. You've got the equivalent of a crystal sword between the two of them. And yeah, this is just going to be... I know exactly how he's going to be doing this. He's going to bring out Eddie so he can get a counter nuke, and then, or get a nuke, bounce, run away again, and then never have to be healed. This is actually very, very smart by J-Bron. This is a smart hybrid.
Yeah, very nice. Tela going down, that's to be expected. And that Fire 3 didn't even touch Eddie, so that Kate Icemus is not healed by it. So very well played there. And Eddie should... although that Black Hole did remove the veil, he has to reapply that, but he's good to go.
Yeah, this is again very, very interesting, very smart. This gets a little questionable here that we're in phase 2. If Palom takes a full hit, he could possibly get knocked down. Though I foresee we're gonna see a Tier 2 pot from Eddie, maybe.
Yeah, that would be the time for that. Both Kane and Edge replenishing their wine reserves.
Well, I guess we're going to have Palom heal himself up, but yeah, as long as he can get a Cure Potion off, or even a Fire 2 off on himself beforehand, he should be okay. It's a little spicy, and I'm here for the spice.
Yeah.
So he has to hope that this rolls...
Yeah, the roll's done. The die is cast. And J-Brun finishes in second place with an official time of 2:05:59 GGs to J-Brun.
Big GGs to him. That was very, very well done. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview, because that honestly was the equivalent of just watching Rosa and Cecil go, but with an extra bonus character. Very, very well done.
Yeah, J-Brun one of one of the more flamboyant in his running style. Always great to see. He put on a show again for us today. And as befits this seed, the flame of Zeromus goes out. And so while we wait to see if Jbrun will join us, do want to remind everyone that we have a full week of races coming up this week on Free Enterprise family of networks. So for tomorrow, we have a new flag for our Monday community race. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise Prime. We also have our Friday community race on Free Enterprise 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern. So join us for those. We also have on Saturday, we have our Tournament Preparation Club. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that will be on a Free Enterprise as well.
Indeed. And Jbrun has decided that he does not want to have an interview this afternoon. 100% up to him. We just appreciate the fact that he showed us so many wonderful things in today's race, between sneak glitching, and he gave us music and just all sorts of goodies. Big fan. GG's up to him. But what we're going to be doing is we are actually going to be going and raiding our friends at Games Done Quick. They're currently in the middle of a Yakuza marathon. Current game is Yakuza Dead. We're done with our free enterprise for today. Give all the love that you can over to them because they have been fantastic with us. And as mentioned, every other Monday, you will even be able to see one of our admins, Oscar424, running an Express Lane show on there. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, before we go, do want to thank one more time our restreamer Aaron Lore, our tracker Scarcerer, and thank you, Dat. This was a whole lot of fun. A fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. It was always a pleasure, and always a pleasure to be beside you, Sheep. Whether it's you and I both in the booth, you and I behind the scenes, or one mix in that of the other. But y'all have yourselves a lovely weekend, and we shall see you soon.
So long.
And raid is away.